Hi, I'm Ernest Skip.
Hi, I'm Terry Mac.
And we are Team Scephalon.
And this is our robot. Our robot Cerebrin uses a different kind of falling mechanism than you would expect. Instead of using a sensor that senses like ultrasonics or radio, instead it uses a leash. Now, this leash is pretty much the same thing, except it's not energy. This thing uses a leash which senses 3 sensors down there, which Ernest will explain.
And so, we have 3 different sensors. There's the bottom sensor, which the leash is attached to, and we have a left sensor and a right sensor. So, the bottom sensor is used to detect whether the user is stationary or is moving. If it is triggered, it means the person is moving, and the robot will move too. The left and right is used to detect whether the person is moving left or right. And so, let's say the left sensor is triggered, then that means the user will be moving left, and so the robot will too. And the same thing works for the right sensor. But in the event that the bottom sensor is not triggered, but the left or right is, it could mean that the user is standing to the left or right, but is not moving. And so in this situation, the robot will not move.
In airport places and places like airports, there's a lot of petty theft. In other words, people stealing your baggage. Below the bag here, there's a touch sensor. The touch sensor is registering that the bag is currently there. If it wasn't there, it'll be sending off an alarm. Ernest is going to explain how the deactivation and activation mechanism works.
Here we have 3 different sensors. We have this, which we call control, and 1 and 2. So how this works is with variables. What happens is there's a variable called alarm. If alarm is equal to 1, it means the alarm is on. If it's equal to 0, it means it is off. And so what happens is there's a touch sensor below here. If it's released and the alarm equals 1, that means the alarm will start going off now. To turn it off, we can start by pressing control. By pressing control, we set disable, a different variable, equal to 1. While disable is equal to 1, these 2 sensors are detecting how many times they're being pressed. And they're adding up these two different variables, variable 1 and variable 2. And these 2 variables are increasing by 1 every single time one of these are pressed. And afterwards, if we press control again, then it will count up to see how much variable 1 and variable 2 is equal to. If it is correct, then the alarm will turn off. If it's not, the alarm will just continue going.
As an additional feature on our robot, we have 2 ultrasonic sensors. The first ultrasonic sensor senses walls, objects, people that may get in the way of the robot. If it senses anything, the robot will stop. Below the robot is a sensor that senses edges, like the edges of stairs, and again the robot will stop if it senses either of these.
Lastly, we have this. This is a button to assist the user. If the user wants to go in the opposite direction, all they have to do is press this, and the robot will turn around in the other direction so that they can head that way. And this is our robot, Cerebrin.
In this segment, I'm just going to demonstrate the movement capability of the robot. In other words, I'm just going to walk around it for like 10 seconds. Yay.
Now here's a demonstration of the security system. And so the alarm turns off.
To demonstrate our ultrasonic sensor, I'm just going to place my foot here, like a wall, in front of it, and to demonstrate, it's not going to move. And the robot, by that flashing light, is on, okay?
our robot would work very well using RFID, sending radio signals from transmitter to receiver, except it's just way too expensive with our current budget. So instead, we have a demo.
Because RFID is too expensive, we do know how it works, and we do know how it would work if we could add it. So we've also assembled a demonstration to show you. RFID is using light, radio signals. However, we wouldn't want to use this because it is really a remote control. You have to point it at the robot at a certain angle all the time. It wouldn't work with everyone. So that's why we're using relation instead.